Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're exploring a challenge I think many of us feel, this relentless grip of what people call hustle culture.
Hmm.
You know, that feeling of always needing to do more, be more, achieve more. Our guide for this journey is Jefferson Bethke's really insightful book, To Hell with the Hustle, Reclaiming Your Life in an Overworked, Overspent, and Overconnected World.
And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to pull out some powerful insights. How our daily practices, the sheer amount of information we take in, and just the constant noise of modern life are, well, subtly shaping us.
Mhm.
We want to help you figure out how to maybe realign yourself to pursue like genuine flourishing and a more authentic human identity.
Yeah, get ready because we're going to challenge some really deeply ingrained ideas, things about traditional goal setting.
Yeah.
We'll reveal some surprising dangers, maybe, of our constant connection to information.
Oh.
It's all leading us down a path towards, hopefully, a more anchored and truly human existence. And we want to be clear, Bethke's book has a specific spiritual viewpoint, but our aim here is to pull out the universal wisdom in his argument.
Exactly. Insights that can really apply to anyone looking for, a more balanced and authentic life.
Okay, let's jump in. So let's unpack this. This modern world's obsession with goals, achievement, constant optimization, we all feel it, right? That pressure.
Definitely.
Bethke shares something really unique about his own family. They have this annual Bethke Family Summit, right? And they have a strict no goals rule.
No goals. That's pretty radical.
Yeah. Instead, he just uses a whiteboard to brainstorm and scribble about ideas for their family. It's more about exploration, not a checklist.
That is radical. And, what's compelling is how they actually got there. He uses this analogy from finance,
Oh, yeah.
a stop-loss order. In investing, it's like a trigger to sell a stock if it drops too low. For them, he says, the results we're getting from the goals we were setting had dipped far below what we wanted.
Wow.
So they basically, pulled the plug on the whole goal-setting system, metaphorically speaking.
That takes courage to just abandon something so ingrained.
It really does. It's about knowing when a system isn't serving you anymore.
It's a powerful analogy, and it makes you really rethink what a goal even is. He defines it, the standard way, the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. All about the end, the doing, the results.
Right, the outcome.
But here's the kicker. He points out the word goal was virtually non-existent before 1920.
Really? Before 1920?
Yeah, it's a surprisingly modern idea. And he says, think about it. Lots of people have the same goals but don't reach them. Like, every NBA player wants the championship, right? But only one team wins.
Good point.
So the goal itself can't be the whole story.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of formations comes in. It's the contrast.
Formations, okay.
Yeah, so formations, he defines that as the process of forming. The focus shifts. It goes from the end to the present, from doing to being, from results to process. The big question becomes, who am I becoming through the practices I'm doing?
Who am I becoming?
Right. Because goals, he argues, are linear and final. You achieve them, you're done, move on. But formations are circular and forever. They're about continuous shaping. It's a totally different way of thinking.
It sounds like such a small shift, maybe just semantics, right? Changing a word.
You'd think so.
But he insists it's made a massive difference for his family. It changes your whole orientation, your North Star. It's not what you achieve, but who you are becoming.
That's a profound reorientation, isn't it?
It really is.
And the core belief underneath that is we as humans are the summation of our repeated practices and rituals. Humans aren't made, we are formed.
We are formed.
Yeah. And this focus on formation, he says, it feels more human. We're kind of designed for becoming, not just ticking boxes. He suggests it moves beyond just like simple morality, doing right or wrong things. It leads more towards holistic character development, integrated living, where your practices actually line up with your deepest values.
And he gives practical examples, right? Small things his family does.
Yeah.
He calls them small changes with massive results. Things like honoring a family Sabbath, never allowing phones in bedrooms.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah. And turning their phones off completely for 24 hours every week.
Wow.
And the key thing he stresses is there's no finish line on them. They're not goals to achieve. They're ongoing ways of living that shape who they are.
And this connects to what he calls the 80% rule, which I found really helpful.
The 80% rule.
Yeah. Think about it. If you set a goal, say, work out 7 days a week, and you only manage 5, that's 80%, roughly.
Right. Feels like failure.
Exactly. You focus on the 20% you missed. But with formations, if you do the practice 80% of the time, you're still fundamentally changing. His example is watering plants. Water them 5 days a week instead of 7. You still get awesome, healthy plants.
Ah, that's a great analogy.
It is. It's the consistency of the process that transforms, not achieving perfection.
That really reframes how you think about progress, doesn't it? Takes some pressure off.
Totally.
Okay, so that whole discussion about how practices shape us leads into something even maybe more provocative. His claim, information is killing us.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Strong words.
Right. It sounds like a paradox. We have access to this unprecedented amount of information. We're all trying to optimize our bodies and health and mind.
Constantly optimizing.
Yeah, and yet we're left wondering, why aren't we immensely better for it?
It really challenges this whole idea of human optimization. Because if you look at the human body, he argues, it's actually pretty inefficient.
Inefficient? How so?
Well, he calls us waste-creating devices, for one, and points out we need like 8 hours of sleep every day.
Yeah.
Think about that. If you live to 90, that's 30 full years spent sleeping continuously.
30 years.
Can you imagine Apple trying to sell a computer that's inoperable for 8 hours a day?
Huh. No way.
Just shows how much we push against our basic human nature, you know?
So we're trying to optimize these fundamentally inefficient bodies with tons of information. And the result, he says, is we're informationally obese.
Oof, obese.
Yeah, gorging ourselves on information until we are sick and unhealthy. Always looking for just one more podcast, one more YouTube video, one more hack.
I feel that. Definitely feel that sometimes, that one more thing trap.
Me too.
And historically, he points out, think about a tent maker in the 1st century or a farmer in the 17th century. They were lucky to read 50 books in their entire lifetime.
50 books? Lifetime?
Yeah. Today, he says, people watch more than 50 episodes or movies in a week or two.
That comparison is stark.
It really is. He argues the information onslaught is an intense issue that we haven't dealt with before. It's just unprecedented for our brains.
And it makes you wonder about, like, historical patterns with new things. He draws this parallel. Cocaine was seen as a wonder drug 100 years ago.
Wow, yeah.
And tobacco companies, even after they knew smoking was harmful, paid millions to hire PR firms to convince doctors to smoke cigarettes.
Unbelievable.
So he asks this really stark question. Are social media and Google the tobacco companies of the 21st century? Are smartphones the cocaine of today? It really makes you stop and think.
It does. And he outlines this like predictable societal cycle for new tech or innovation. Stage 1, this is cool and exciting. Stage 2, this is actually the best thing ever. Stage 3, this is still great, but it seems to be hurting me also.
Right. The doubt creeps in.
Stage 4, yes, it's definitely hurting me. I probably need to live without it, or at least manage it way better. He suggests we're currently in stage 2, kind of tipping into stage 3 with our relationship to information and tech.
That feels pretty accurate.
Yeah, we've seen this pattern before.
And just to hammer home how much information we're talking about, he throws out some, frankly, insane numbers.
Oh, yeah.
5 quintillion bytes of data created every single day.
Quintillion, I can't even picture that.
Me neither. And only 0.5% of it is ever analyzed.
Half a percent.
Yeah. Every 2 days, we create as much information as humanity did from the dawn of civilization up to 2003.
That's mind-boggling. Every 2 days.
And by 2020, it was 1.7 megabytes of new information created every second for every single human on the planet.
It's a tsunami, not just a wave. It's a tsunami of data.
Totally.
And his argument is, with all this data flooding us, we lose crucial skills, the skills needed to say no. Things like long, steady focus and a deep flow for work, they just get eroded.
Right.
He brings in the Greek word telos.
Telos.
Yeah, E-L-O-S. It means your ultimate end or aim, your vision of the good life, basically.
Yeah.
And he says our telos is our most primal defining feature.
Yeah.
Whether we know it or not, we will bend and break an entire life around what we believe our telos to be.
Wow. Bend and break an entire life around it. Okay, this next point. It's really shifted my perspective. He says, we do not become just what we think. We become what we desire. We are shaped by what we love, not just by information or thoughts. That feels huge in our info-obsessed world.
It really is. It flips the script. And then he breaks down different kinds of actions. There's routine, like mundane stuff, tying your shoe.
Okay.
Then habit, a deeper repeated action, maybe hard to give up. And it's driven by desires.
Right.
And then ritual, which is a habit that's imbued with meaning, a repeatable action that draws us into a sacred moment. And the crucial link is our telos, our ultimate aim, is revealed through our habits. What you repeatedly do shows what you truly value and desire.
He shares a really simple personal story about this, making coffee for his wife every morning.
Ah, yeah.
He admits, sometimes it's just duty or he's tired. But over time, it became this dance of the morning ritual. He says it's loaded with meaning. It transformed from a chore into like an act of love shaping their connection. That shows the power of ritual, doesn't it?
It really does, and
Yeah.
it helps clarify this idea of legalism. People worry about rituals becoming legalistic.
Right, just empty rules.
But he argues legalism is not defined by behavior, but by the heart. He puts it this way: rules before love equals legalism. Just going through the motions.
Okay.
But love before rules equals gospel formation. Meaning, when the actions flow from genuine purpose, from love, that's where real transformation happens. He even points to Jesus praying the Shema 3 times a day. It wasn't legalism. It was a disciplined expression of love and devotion.
Love before rules. That's a powerful distinction. So if our habits and rituals shape us based on desire, he introduces liturgy, but not like church liturgy necessarily.
Right, not just that.
He defines it as something being done to you. You're being shaped by these love-shaping practices all around you. And here's the kicker. He says the people who understand this best, that we're creatures of love and desire, not just thoughts, are the current giant tech companies.
Ooh, like Apple.
Exactly. He uses Apple as a prime example, describes their stores as temple-like spaces, Steve Jobs as a sort of priest, product launches as high holy days generating religious fervor.
You can kind of see that, can't you? The lines, the excitement.
Totally. And then he describes how we interact with our phones. We crouch and bend over, usually with heads bowed, laser-focused, silent and solemn.
Huh. Hadn't thought of it quite like that.
Performing these repeated micro-actions, swipes, swipe. And he makes this powerful observation. In the Middle East, a bell might ring calling people to prayer. In the West, maybe the phone's ping is the new implicit call to, well, pay attention, to worship almost.
That's unsettling.
It is. And Apple's marketing totally gets this. He analyzes that famous Christmas ad. They don't sell specs.
Right, they sell a feeling.
Exactly. They sell a vision of the beautiful life their phone can give you, connection, family, meaning. Because, as he says, we are story creatures, not information creatures.
Yeah.
They tap into our deep desires.
So the big question this raises is, well, what are our micro-liturgies? What are these daily practices doing to us? He urges us, you, the listener, to audit our micro-liturgies. Because, like it or not, you are being formed.
Right.
The invitation is to resist that hustle culture that wants to turn us into just efficient, driven, ambitious, goal-oriented, achievement-based humans, or even machines,
Yeah.
and instead pursue this bigger and better and more truthful telos, a vision of flourishing as integrated, whole human beings, maybe like the image of God found in Jesus, as he puts it from his perspective.
Okay, so we've talked about subtle influences, information overload, but what about when we just try to brute force it? When we try to cheat our basic human limits?
Yeah, push past them.
He brings up Thomas Edison, famously hated sleep, called it a heritage from our cave days.
Right. Thought it was a waste of time.
Yeah. Claimed he worked on average of 20 hours per day for the past 15 years.
20 hours a day. That's intense.
Insane. But here's the irony, right?
What's that?
The light bulb. Edison's most famous invention. He argues it's the single most responsible device for sleep disruption and quality for the past 130 years.
Wow. The inventor of the thing that disrupted sleep, he hated sleep himself.
Exactly. And he details the serious health risks of chronic sleep deprivation, a 33% higher risk of dementia,
Wow.
higher risks for depression, anxiety, memory loss, heart disease, obesity. The list goes on. We're literally harming ourselves by trying to cheat rest.
It's a stark warning.
He also draws this parallel to farming, unsustainable agriculture,
Okay.
where modern fertilizing techniques have actually changed the composition of soil, leading to the law of diminishing returns. You get less and less out over time.
Right, depleting the resource.
The sustainable solution is crop rotation, letting fields rest. But that's hard economically in the short term.
Yeah, farmers want to maximize yield now.
So they squeeze out a few more dollars by using all the fields all the time. Which sounds an awful lot like how we treat our bodies, doesn't it?
That's a really powerful parallel. Pushing for short-term gain, ignoring the long-term cost, depleting ourselves.
Exactly.
And it begs the question, are we sort of playing God by pushing our limits like this? Have we forgotten how to be human? He reminds us, though, that chaos isn't new. He points to Genesis 1, where the earth was tohu wabohu.
Tohu wabohu.
Yeah, Hebrew for chaos and desolation. Formless, empty, wild. But even then, the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. There was chaos, but also a presence, a potential for order.
So chaos has always been there, but what's the antidote?
Shalom.
Shalom, peace.
Yes, but it's much deeper than just, like, the absence of conflict. He explains the Hebrew letters. Shin means teeth, lamd means authority, mem means water or chaos.
Teeth, authority, chaos.
So shalom means to have the teeth to destroy the authority of chaos. It's an active, powerful peace that overcomes disorder.
Wow, that's not passive at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He even mentions Jerusalem means you will see the mouth of peace destroy the authority of chaos.
That gives peace a whole new dimension.
It does. And he declares the big difference between chaos and shalom is rhythm.
Rhythm.
Chaos is unpredictable and unrhythmic, but shalom is more like a dance that depends on the rhythm and music. It needs that steady, ordered pulse.
It's like music, right? Random noise versus notes played in time. That's rhythm.
Precisely. Or dancing. He says, you still have to submit to the rhythm or your moves look weird, haphazard, and cringeworthy.
Huh. Anyone who's tried to dance without rhythm knows that feeling.
Exactly. It's a great image for life. Trying to force our own beat when there's a deeper, more life-giving rhythm available.
He gets personal here too, doesn't he?
He does. Shares about a really painful breakup, feeling lost, like pure chaos in my heart, even after having what he calls a profound encounter with Jesus.
So the belief was there, but the feeling wasn't.
Right. He realized he was trying to build beliefs and morals on a foundation of chaos. He hadn't changed his actual daily habits, his rhythms, to align with this new understanding. His inner world was still chaotic.
That makes sense. You can't just think your way out of chaos.
No. And he used this image of a song in the other room. Like God is playing this symphony of shalom, this beautiful rhythm. He compares it to hearing Adele sing from far away, you still recognize the beauty. Or C.S. Lewis describing Aslan's music as, beyond comparison, the most beautiful noise he had ever heard.
It's an invitation, then, to tune into that rhythm.
Exactly. But he stresses learning to dance takes work. It takes practice. It might feel clumsy at first.
Like learning any new skill.
Right. But eventually the goal is to stop looking down at your feet, worrying about every step, and start looking up into the eyes of Jesus or whatever your source of that rhythm is, letting the rhythm itself move you.
Moving from chaos to shalom through rhythm. That's powerful. Now let's shift to something related but distinct. Noise. Actual noise. He calls noise pollution an airborne pathogen.
Wow. Pathogen.
Yeah. He uses the Starbucks example. Close your eyes in a coffee shop. You hear the indie music, the ice rattling, cups snapping, voices muffled, the drive-through.
So much background noise we just tune out.
Exactly. It's amazing how much noise is just baseline now, even in quiet places. We've become numb to the noise.
And the way our brain handles this is fascinating. He talks about sensory gating.
Sensory gating.
Yeah, the brain's ability to filter out irrelevant noise. Yeah. It's also called the cocktail party effect. You can focus on one conversation in a loud room.
Right, I know that.
But he warns this constant filtering, this increased level of noise, taxes the body and brain more than it can handle. It leads to brains literally exhausted. He even points to research linking problems with sensory gating to things like chronic fatigue syndrome and even schizophrenia. Our mental health is clearly affected.
And we've just accepted these insane levels of noise as normal. He mentions a New York restaurant averaging 96 decibels. That's a level the government says requires ear protection for workers.
96 decibels in a restaurant. That's like a lawnmower.
Yeah. The waitress there got migraines, had ringing in her ears, and yet that's a common dining experience now.
And it gets worse, doesn't it? Some places actually use noise strategically.
Yeah. He says they weaponize noise for profit to speed up their table turns.
Get people in and out faster.
Right. Hard Rock Cafe apparently found that loud, fast music made people talk less, eat and drink more, and leave quicker.
So the noise is actually manipulating us for profit.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And here's a really disturbing parallel he draws.
Okay.
Loud music is mentioned 17 times in declassified CIA documents about torture techniques at black sites like Guantanamo Bay.
Torture techniques using loud music.
Yes. So he asks, kind of rhetorically, torture technique on terrorists or a rave at a club for millennials, the same thing apparently. It forces you to see the extreme impact of constant loud noise.
That is deeply unsettling.
It really is.
So what does actual silence even feel like anymore? He describes a power outage at his house. Suddenly, the house became creepy silent. No hum from the fridge, The modem, the chargers, all those little background noises we forget are there. He realized he hadn't heard that kind of quiet in ages.
Most of us probably have it. He mentions George Prochnik, who wrote In Pursuit of Silence. Prochnik actually tried to find the quietest place in the United States.
Where did he find it?
A basement in a Trappist monastery in Iowa, New Melleray Abbey.
A monastery basement. Makes sense.
But a monk there warned him the silence was so intense it would take him outside of his comfort zone. Said people from big cities often couldn't handle it for even 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Because the silence is too much.
Apparently.
Why is that? Why do we feel so, as he puts it, exposed and naked in silence? Why do we get noisy inside our heads? He quotes Henri Nouwen here, who had a really profound insight. Nouwen said, "Solitude is not a private therapeutic place."
Not just for relaxing.
No. Rather, it is the place of conversion, the place where the old self dies and the new self is born. He calls it a dreadful nothingness that makes us want to run back to distractions because it forces us to confront what's really inside.
So silence isn't empty, it's confronting. He describes it as a desert,
A desert, yeah.
where mirages of our false self pop up and we feel desperate. This confrontation with our own frightening nothingness forces us to surrender ourselves totally and unconditionally to something bigger, to the Lord Jesus Christ, in Nouwen's terms. It's a space for surrender.
And Bethke shares his own struggles with this. He said silence initially felt like torture, old memories, past choices coming up vividly. At one point, he apparently threw my Bible across the room and yelled, "This doesn't even work."
Wow, he really struggled.
Yeah. He contrasts that with his wife, Alyssa, who seemed so grounded and actually craved those moments of quiet, much like Jesus in the Gospels, who often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. It shows it's a discipline, often a difficult one, but worthwhile.
So choosing silence, embracing it, becomes an act of resistance, a quiet revolution against the noise.
Yes.
He holds up Mr. Rogers as a fantastic example, Fred Rogers,
Oh, Mr. Rogers, yeah.
who intentionally predicated his show on calm, slow, methodical, and pointed talking. He was actively fighting TV's tendency towards noise and speed. He created a sanctuary of calm.
And he had that amazing ritual, didn't he? Silence.
Yes. He started every meeting, even with President Clinton, even at the Emmy Awards in 1997, with millions watching.
In front of millions.
Yeah, he'd ask for 60 seconds of silence for everyone to reflect on someone who had positively impacted their life.
That takes guts. How did people react?
Apparently at the Emmys, the audience laughed at first, but his quiet seriousness made them comply. It shows the power of intentional silence, even in a loud world.
That's incredible. A minute of silence on national TV.
It really reinforces his point. Slow or silent space doesn't mean wasted space. And empty space does not need to always inherently be filled.
He can just be. And that being space is where things happen.
Exactly.
He wraps up this section with a great metaphor. Gordon Hempton, an acoustic ecologist.
Right, the silence guy.
Yeah, he established 1 square inch of silence in the Hoh Rain Forest in Olympic National Park, marked by just a tiny red stone.
1 square inch.
But Hempton doesn't just find quiet places, he defends them. He contacts airlines, authorities, anyone making noise nearby, and demands compliance to protect that silence. He's a guardian.
So what's the takeaway for us then, applying Hempton's work?
Well, the author suggests a 2-step process for our own lives. First, we need to actively seek silence, find those moments, those spaces.
Okay.
And second, we need to defend it, guard it against the constant noise intrusion of modern life, the phone, the notifications, the endless stream.
Seek it, then defend it.
Yeah. It's a spiritual practice, he calls it. Requires practice, repetition.
Huh.
But in that space, the old self begins to suffocate and your new self begins to be renewed. It's active transformation, not just passive quiet.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot today. We've gone from moving beyond just goals to these life-shaping formations, to recognizing the silent, maybe hidden dangers of information overload and just constant noise.
Right.
And then rediscovering the power of rhythm, of shalom and silence as really acts of resistance in this crazy busy world.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that we are constantly being formed by our desires, by our practices, whether we pay attention or not. And the invitation here, the profound invitation, is to be intentional about it,
Mhm.
to shape those practices towards, flourishing, authentic humanness,
Yeah.
to really become who we're meant to be.
So as we wrap up, here's something for you to think about. If our deepest desires and habits really are quietly shaping us, and if the modern world is full of these liturgies, these practices that often pull us away from real rest and peace, what is one noise intrusion in your daily life? Just one that you could start to demand compliance from starting today.
Hmm, good question.
Think about your own micro liturgies. Where are they really leading you?